Hey guys, Jacob here. It is currently January 11th, 2022, and this is going to be this week's vendor reset. The front desk this week are selling the Swamp Chain MP7 named SMG with perfect unwavering. If you guys do not have this, I would recommend picking it up, especially if you're trying to collect all the named weapons. But at the same time, the stats on this are pretty low. You can change the stability to something else, like damaged armor, for example, and then max out the critical chance. Then you have a decent Swamp Chain. But at the same time, you can farm loot allocations to find a better one if you guys don't want to, max this out. Which, in my opinion, it's not really worth it because you could find a better one probably way easier instead of just optimizing this thing. But if you just want to have it, you could pick it up. Next is going to be max damage to armor on SMGs if you guys need this for your library. But other than that, I'm going to scroll through the rest of the stuff. If you guys need it or need any of the talents or stats, I'd recommend picking it up.
Thanks for your business.
Now if you guys go under the helipad right here and go to these double doors, so right here, you'll see clan quarters. Shout out to Disciples of Doom and Kamikaze Von Doom, and this is going to be the clan vendor. This week they're selling the Grudge SMG. This one has critical chance, SMG as normal, and the attributes are going to be reload speed, and you have perfect vindictive. If you guys don't have this, recommend picking it up. At the same time, you can farm loot allocation areas to find a better one, but this gun, in my opinion, is way better than the Swamp Chain that's for sale at the front desk. So if you are trying to get an SMG, I would prefer, you guys pick this one up instead of that one, because you can change the reload speed, damage to armor, and the critical hit chance is pretty high up there compared to the Swamp Chain, and then you can just optimize this a little bit and then have max SMG. But at the same time, you can farm loot allocations to find a better one, and this one does have 4 attachment points. I'm going to scroll through the rest of these items in case you guys need them. They are selling max critical hit chance for rifles if you guys need that for your stat library. But other than that, that's really going to be about it. A few items I will point out is going to be these golden geared gloves with critical chance, armor, and explosive. If you guys are trying to make an armor regen style build. And also the heraldic holding gloves if you guys are trying to make a sniper build. But at the same time, these are pretty low. But I could see a few people who are new trying to just mess around with builds and test stuff, then you guys might be able to use that. But other than that, that's about it for the clan vendor. Next is going to be the theater settlement. Usually I have a cut in between these, but due to the how fast the Xbox Series X is, by the time I pretty much finish this sentence, as you guys will see, I'm already here and I'm already loading in, and then boom, this is the vendor. This week they're selling the Tsunami. The stats on this are pretty low. I would not recommend picking this up unless you're a collector just trying to get all the named stuff. But you can farm loot areas that are shotguns to find a better one of these, and this does have perfect pummel and only 2 mod slots. Next is going to be max repair skill. If you guys need that for a healer build, you guys can pick these up and then add it to your library.
Looking good, Agent.
But that's going to be about it for the theater settlement. Next settlement is going to be the campus. This is the second PvE location or settlement you can go to the vendor. Sadly, the safe houses don't have any vendors. That's something I was I'm hoping that maybe in the future or maybe later on when they update the game or maybe as DLC, maybe the area that's going to be in that DLC will have more vendors. Because New York only has 2. This week they're selling the Designated Hitter. This is the named sniper rifle. If you guys do not have this, this has perfect reformation. The stats in this are pretty average or above average, but at the same time you can farm loot allocation areas to find a better one, but if you want it, you guys can pick this up. Other than that, that's going to be really about it for the campus settlement. Another item I will recommend is going to be this Fenris Mask. If you guys are looking for one that has almost max critical hit chance, you can get rid of the repair skill and put critical hit damage to the max, and then optimize the weapon damage all the way up so you will have a triple red Fenris Mask. But next up is going to be the Dark Zones. We're going to be starting at DZ West as usual. Keep this in mind, you need DZ resources to buy anything from these vendors, which you can get by deconstructing gear and extracting it, or opening smaller little boxes scattered around the DZ. This is going to be DZ West, as you guys can see on the wall here.
Come over and take them.
This week they are selling the Murakami Industries Emperor Guard knee pads with armor regen, skill damage, and a skill tier. If you guys can find these with armor regen and then have critical chance already on them, or even armor regen on top of armor regen, then have a double blue, or a blue, then have 3 blues essentially, then to me, that's one of the hardest items in this game to get. I only know a few people who have them, and one of them is Kamikaze Von Doom. I know he got them recently, so if you guys can find a triple blue pair of these, then I'd be using the absolute hell out of them. But other than that, Nothing too crazy at DZ West vendor this week. Next is going to be the DZ South main entrance. Alright, this is DZ South. And the vendor is right here. This week they're selling the Glory Days. This is the perfect nearsighted, which you receive 100% stability at the cost of negative 35% optimal range. If you guys are someone who doesn't like tons of recoil, then you might want to use this gun because, for one, it's 100% stability, and you can't get any better than that. And you don't need to use any stability mods. You can pretty much just use all crit. But at the same time, you are going to be losing your damage talent on your gun, so just keep that in mind. But other than that, I'm going to scroll through a few more of these things in case you guys need them. They are selling almost max weapon damage on the Tetosphere vest if you guys need that. It's not max, but it's pretty damn close, so you guys can make use of this, especially if you're new. But other than that, that's me about it for the DZ South vendor. And the last vendor is going to be DZ East. And this one is usually the one I go to the most because I'm over in DZ East. Most of the time, that's the main DZ I usually go to because it is my favorite. And it does take a minute to run through here because it's all the way up here. It doesn't spawn you a little closer. But this is where the vendor is located. Go up here to the entrance, take a right.
Agent,
this week, she is selling the Ekham's Long Stick Sniper Rifle. This is perfect Ranger. Nothing really too crazy about it in case you guys were wondering. But if you need it, I would recommend grabbing it. But other than that, really, nothing too crazy over here. If you are trying to make a critical hit build, you could use this, especially if you're new for Seska, because you get 10% critical hit chance. This has 5.4 critical chance already on it, and then you can change the explosive to critical hit damage, and you have a pretty decent starter, holster. And also, if you want to optimize it down the road, you can end up having a triple stat red holster. That's me about it for
location nearby.
Next stop, my bad, I cannot speak, is going to be Haven. That's going to be in New York. And sadly, there's only 2 vendors in New York City. I'm not sure why they didn't add any more, because in Division 1, all the DZs had vendors, all the safe houses had vendors, and
safe area.
We obviously don't have DZs, but we do have safe houses, and there's only 2 vendors. But they are selling pretty much your basic stuff, nothing named because they don't sell anything named in these vendors. But if you need any of it, I would recommend picking it up. If you guys take a left here and then go right, this is the last vendor on the list. And this week, pretty much the same stuff as usual, nothing too crazy. But if you guys need any of these items, I would recommend picking them up. But overall, thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more Division 2 content, and I'll catch you guys all later.
BT!